Would you do something that it will hurt you, even if they tell you that it's a slight probability that it will happen? Well, probably you wouldn't, right? Well, we are told that the smoking and secondhand smoking has a probability to kill you or kill the ones that receive the secondhand smoking. They can be killed by cancer or any other disease like that can be exacerbated by this uh, smoke. Now, is it deadly? Is it really worse than any other pollutants that we have on the environment? Well, according to the U.S. Surgeon General, there are certain effects to secondhand smoking, like heart disease, nasal cancer, exacerbation of asthma, ear infection, sudden infant death, etc. Now, how are you going to avoid it? How you avoid something that might kill you? Well, the easiest solution is stay away. But we cannot always do that, right? So we need to enforce a way so that the smokers stay away. And that that happens, for example, in other ordinances that are enforced in cities and states to make the smokers stay away from restaurants. And I believe that is a good measure. Again, the only way to avoid this, it might kill me, is by avoiding, by staying away. Believe it or not, the Surgeon General U.S. From the U.S. Recommends stricter actions than the ones that are recommended or that are enforced by the cities. Believe it or not, there is only one federal law that prevents you from being next to a smoker, and that's the federal law for the aviation. You cannot smoke in an airplane. All other bans are local bans. The trend started in California, and it's been sweeping the country by many, many other cities and local governments creating these laws. And we can see, we saw that locally here in Sherman and Denison recently, right? So what is secondhand smoking? It's a passive way of smoking. It's smoking by involuntary means. There is two types of smoke coming out of the cigarette. The side stream, which is the one that comes from the burning agent, and the main stream, which comes out of exhalation. So e-cigarettes, even though it's coming, it's putting vapor out, there's nicotine that goes into the smoker and then it gets out. There is statistics that show that for any cigarette, e-cigarette or normal cigarette, only 20% is absorbed by the smokers. The other 80% of the chemicals goes out in the air. Mm-hmm. So there's two types of smoke that can hurt. There is other chemicals besides nicotine that are part of the cigarettes or the substances of the e-cigarettes. Although for the cigarettes there's not many studies, but for the normal cigarettes or for the regular tobacco cigarettes, there is benzene and other cancerogens. Benzene is a very similar substance that comes out of gasoline. So you're getting benzene when you're putting gas into a car. So let me ask you this. Would you take your children or your loved ones and have them smell and inhale this chemical every time that you are putting gas in your car? I'm sure sometimes you get that smell and it's annoying to you. So would you do that with your kids? I bet you wouldn't, right? So my suggestion is to stop killing, stop smoking, and for the ones that cannot do that, the ones that do not do that, avoid being next to smokers. Don't go to places where they smoke. Again, when doctors tell you that you have to be aware of you have a risk of having a disease because secondhand smoking is because of the the side stream. They refer to the side stream as again that has more concentration of chemicals. According to Matt Clinton and De Soto, there is another definition that's third-hand smoking, and that is the smoking that it is not really smoking, but that's substances from the cigarette, from the smoke, that get adhered to surfaces. So that is another way of you getting bad chemicals by touch. The health consequence of involvement with secondhand smoke are very very well documented by the U.S. Department of Health. There is another source, which is there's another book from Martini and Tong, AK, that shows that there is a steer from the tobacco industry and creating controversy, trying to undermine evidence linking secondhand smoke with cardiovascular disease. So there's evidence that the industry is meddling with the studies. That's not good, right? There's other studies from the National Health and Nutrition Examinations Center done in 2003 and 2004 that show that smokers are decreasing by 30%. So this is a study from 2003, 2004. So that's good news. But the problem is that overall, 2 billion people smoke in the world. So by math, the other 4 billion people, it's a second-hand smoker. Okay, I'm exaggerating here because they're in the jungle, there probably won't be second-hand smokers. But what I'm telling you is that just by the amount of people that smokes in the earth, there is a probability that we are all second-hand smokers. That's pretty bad, isn't it? Okay, I encourage to support your government, your local government on city ordinances for forbidding smokers from entering bars and restaurants, and for that matter, any other public places. Stay away from tobacco.